Hello guys and welcome back to Earl Sports Bets. I'm Timothy Earl. Today we're going to be breaking down the main stage for Katowice, IEM Katowice 2021. We finally got through all the playing games, so these are part of the two groups that are going to be going through playoffs. There's going to be 8 teams in each group, 16 teams total. It's going to be in a double elimination bracket until we get to the top 4, and then there's the finals and everything. So, but we have some good games tomorrow, some very, very tight lines, which I love to see, which is going to really be good for betting and for DK. So I'm really excited to jump into all the Counter-Strike that's going to go on tomorrow. Before we do that, let's go ahead and look back at today's slate, or yesterday's slate, whatever we're looking at this. It was a 2-2 day in terms of betting. Loss on complexity is a sweep. They won on 3 games. Got the W on MIBR though. Money line plus 199 when I was making the video. Freaking slam of a bet. Loved it. Virtus Pro swept. Unfortunately, Cloud9 could not convert in the last map, and they lost in 3. So we end up going with a 2-2 record. 9-3 in IEM Katowice. So far, super excited. Really happy with how it's going so far. Very profitable, and can't wait to jump into more of it. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe, comment, all that fun stuff. Help us grow the channel, help us make some money. Help you guys make some money with all these bets in all the sports. So for this slate, we have 2 6 a.m. games, this is according to Eastern Standard Time, 2 6 a.m. games, 2 9:30 games, and 2 1 o'clock games. The 2 6 a.m. games are not going to be on DK. The 2 9 o'clocks and 2 1 o'clocks will be. So we'll be going over the 2 Evil Geniuses and Gambit, and then G2 and Spirit. Those 2 games we'll go over first, and then we'll go over the other ones as we go along with what I'm going to be doing for DraftKings. Before we actually jump into all that too as well, we'll go ahead and look at yesterday's DraftKings slate. I told you how I was really liking Zeppa. This was the one lineup I built. I really liked Zeppa and S-Tag from Cloud9 that did not convert. Was high on MIBR. I wish I did a 3 stack of them because that ended up being part of the main lineup. Got the wrong complexity guy, got the wrong Virtus Pro guy, but it was just it was a blank day. But looking at the $10,000 lineup real quick, he had a complexity 3 with Blame F, JKS, and Poison. Solid lineup there. Blame F 10-6, second highest score on the slate. Then you had NBK, who was the second highest scorer on this slate. NBK at $5,400. That was your value play of the day. And then he had Yell and Bolts as his captain. $10,000 lineup. Congratulations to Mikey McDuck on a nice big win. But let's go ahead and get into tomorrow's slate. We get to look at Evil Geniuses taking on Gambit as the first game. Looking at how these teams have played recently, Gambit made it through the play-in stage. They went through Team 1, which was a joke. They went through 2, and then they went through 2 other teams. They had a pretty, not simple, but they had a good run through the play-ins. Went right through the winners. Didn't even have to go drop down to losers bracket. Solid from them. Going up against EG, which got in because they were already qualified, so they didn't have to play the play-ins. They got in through being one of the 2 best teams in North America, along with Furia. So that was a solid. That was solid for them. And last time we seen Evil Geniuses, they qualified for the Blast Premier playoffs for fall. So they're running on a hot streak right now. And for me, seeing Evil Geniuses at plus money, plus 141, I'm 100% interested in going after Evil Geniuses tomorrow in this game, going after them money line. So the plus 141 I don't see them sweeping. I see this one being a hard-fought 3-game series, but going to the side of Evil Geniuses in this one. I just feel like the Evil Geniuses with Breeze, Ethan, and Tarek going off right now. I feel like that's a very, very solid lineup at the moment. It's going to be really tough to take down Evil Geniuses. Next up, we get G2 taking on Spirit. Once again, G2 were one of the best teams in EU last year, or this year, however they qualified. So they went right through to the main groups. Spirit had to play themselves through the play-ins. They, very similar to Gambit, went right through winners bracket. They won 3 games and were done. And had a very, very impressive win, along with having 3. No, that was Riz Pro. But Spirit did win DreamHack against FPX, so that was impressive to see as well. But we got to see Spirit run through the plans. G2 did not, but G2 looked decent at the Blast Premier fall groups. So going through that, but in this one, once again, I see G2 winning this game, and getting them at plus money is even nicer. I would be all over them if they were up to a minus 150. I feel like they should be the favorites in this one. Even though they've had their struggles, they definitely should be favorites against Team Spirit. Spirit hasn't really played much for competition on their way up, but they've played like big, and I think they played complexity once. But they haven't really had that big of competition. I think G2 is going to be their toughest competition, and I think that they will crumble against it and get sent down into the losers bracket. I'm taking G2 to beat Spirit. Now we get to move on to the DraftKings slate as well. First game that we're going to be looking at is going to be Big and Heroic. You can get Big minus 132, Heroic plus 110. Looking at how they went, Big went through. They did go to the losers bracket, so they had to go through that, but they ultimately made it. And then Heroic were automatically in. I think they won a flashpoint or something in that nature, and were able to get in through there. So that was their way into the thing. They didn't have to play through the play-ins. But in this game, I am taking Big. I do like Big to win against Heroic. I just feel like Heroic doesn't really... They definitely have stuff to prove. I'm not really trusting in them right now. I have a lot more trust in going after Big. But we'll go ahead and look at over the players real quick. Stavin has been playing really well lately when they do play, which I believe the last time they played was DreamHack? Game log, CS Summit, sorry. There's so many tournaments, I get confused sometimes. Yeah, it's 60 points, 67 points in best of 3, so I definitely think that Stavin is definitely a good option if you're going after the Heroic side. Only other option that I would be interested in for the Heroic side is probably Nico at 6,600 or Canyon at 6,800. Other than that, I'm not really interested in Borup. He's not really to the standards that I want. And Testis is very, very hit or miss, very, very GPP play. But I don't feel like I want to go after that. Anybody else find it funny that Bubsky is the second most expensive player on the slate? He's not even going to play. Just figure I'd throw that one out there. On the big side, I think they're just too cheap. I like Searson at 7,800. I like Zentaris at 7,400. I even like Tabson at 7K. Even going after Tizian and Keto, 62 and 6,000, I feel like the big clan, I feel like any of them are worth it. I'm going to go and put probably two of them in my lineup for tomorrow. I just feel like they're too cheap. Going after any of them is going to be a good option. My top picks will probably be Zentaris and Searson, but that comes with them being the most expensive players on the slate, or most expensive players on Big. But I definitely am going to be taking Big to win tomorrow on the money line. Moving on, I believe this one's going to be the biggest spread of tomorrow. We got Astralis taking on Mouse Sports. Astralis minus 357. Mouse Sports plus 278. If I just see Astralis winning this one. I don't know if it's going to be a 2-0. I think I would, if I'm going to take a bet from this game, I'm not taking Astralis money line because that's way too wide. I might take Mouse Sports plus 1.5 maps, saying that they take one. I just don't see this one as a sweep. I think I'd rather take Mouse Sports being able to take a map from Astralis. Astralis have not been looking the sharpest lately. They got knocked out of the last fall after going up against, which teams did they lose to? Ninjas. They lost to Ninjas in Pajamas, and they lost to Big. So they have not been looking that well lately, but I do like them to win tomorrow. Some of my favorite plays from this one. Magic's 7,600. I just feel like that's way too cheap for him. Going after him. And then Device at 9K are probably the only two options. Except for with this slate, obviously there's some questions with Vitality. I think I'd rather take Zywoo over Device, but Device is definitely a good contrarian pick for it. I wouldn't be interested in Zipix because I know they've been banning Nuke, not picking into Nuke, but if they do and try to get Bubsky in there, Zipix will get knocked out. So it's going to be a interesting portion for that. On the Mouse Sports sides, Rops 7,200, fair price there. Acor and Frozen at 7,400. I do like those prices as well. If you feel like Mouse can really put up a fight, these guys could be good value options. The team is not bad. The one thing I have that's a big Q tag for me is how is Dexter going to be able to fit in? They did beat Renegades 16-14. I saw that one. Who else did they go up against? I haven't really seen many of their games. Oh, that was it. That was the only team that they played against? Was it? I thought they played another one. I could be wrong. Yeah, they play against Renegades, and that was it. Very interesting. But we get to see them going up against Astralis tomorrow. Yeah, I just might stay away from Mouse Sports just because I don't know how they're going to be with their new IGL completely right now. So that one's just going to be a little bit of an avoid. And if anything, I'm going to take Mouse Sports plus 1.5 maps. And I'm saying that this one will go 3. On to the 1 o'clock games. Scroll down way too far. Love when I do that. OG and Vitality will be the next game for tomorrow. And this is the game that's got me the biggest Q mark here. And the big name, because they're not 100% confirmed if Apex is going to even play. So, minus 189 for Vitality, plus 155 for OG. This one's going to be my asterisk in terms of the official bets. If Apex is playing tomorrow, I'm keeping my Vitality pick, Vitality money line. If before the slate starts, they announce that Apex is not playing, I will very well switch that to OG and go after OG players, because the last time we saw Vitality play without Apex, it was against Evil Geniuses, and Evil Geniuses managed to beat them in 3 maps. Shox was the IGL, and it was just ugly. Now, if we'll go ahead and break down Vitality real quick, because if Apex is playing, Masuda and Navarra are off the table, and so are Shox for me, because I don't want to have to I don't want to put a player on my thing, and then Inferno gets picked and Shox gets taken out, or Dust 2 gets picked and Masuda gets taken out. I don't want to mess with all that. I'm not interested in going after them if Apex is in. If Apex is out, Navarra, Masuda are very, very good value plays. because I do feel like they're going to be better with being able to know that they're going to be able to play maps. And Shocks would be good. Would be a decent play, not the best. I think Shocks is just going to be a no-go for me, just because either A, Apex is in, he has a chance of getting subbed out, or B, Apex is out, and he's the IGL, and last time he played as IGL, his KD was not as high as we would want it to be, and it was not pretty for that one. Zaiwu obviously is going to be one of the best plays on the slate. 9,600, I'm willing to pay up for him. I will pay up for him. Not as captain, but I will pay up for him. On the other side, if Apex does not play, I really like OG. Mantu, way too cheap at 6,600. Valde, way too cheap at 6,400. Would be the top two plays. Other than that, Alexi B could be a decent value play at 5K. He did not play well today, though. He played really good the first game. Other than that, he ended up struggling after a while. 59 points after starting up like he was at like 30-something points after game one. So not really interesting going after that. Mantu, Valde would be the only two that I'd be interested in if Apex is out and I pick OG to win the game. But I'm going to consider Apex being in, and I'm grabbing Vitality. Final game of the day, we get Team Liquid taking on Team FaZe, a rematch of a rematch from Blast Fall. And we got to see both of those series go 2-0 to FaZe. And I see no difference. You can get FaZe minus 115, Liquid minus 104. And I really like this team. Let's look at Liquid first. Elige 7,400. I feel like that's really, really cheap for him. That's a really good price. Nash 7,200. Once again, really good price. And then you got Fallen, Grim, Stewie. I'm not really going to be too interested in those three guys. If anything, go after Elige or Naf. On the FaZe side, Brokey 7,400. Way too cheap. Twist 7K. Way too cheap. Coldzera, not going to be in IGL because Kerrigan's in, so he might be able to get let loose a little bit. 6,800, way too cheap. Not interested in Rain, and definitely not interested in Kerrigan. But I feel like FaZe has had enough practice with him. Kerrigan has been practicing with FaZe for the past couple weeks, most likely. So I feel like they should be just fine. This team is going to be very, very dangerous in the next couple months with a start at Katowice. I do think they're going to end up winning today. So I am going to be taking FaZe to win that matchup, and Twist as my favorite. Twist and Coldzera as my favorite plays from FaZe. But that's going to wrap it up for the video. I want to thank you guys all for watching. If you guys did enjoy, make sure you guys leave a like, subscribe. All of our picks are on that side, so if you're interested in betting any of our lines, all of our links to our socials will be in the description below. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. And until next time, let's make some money, and let's watch some good Counter-Strike.